see some Let's Play Hoi 4. Yeah, man, like, I'm having so much fun with Hoi right now. And there's been so many things added to Hearts of Iron since release, like a little over 3 years ago. I mean, so many patches. We're at 1.8.1, which is huge. Lots of expansions as well, which has pretty dramatically changed the gameplay. I mean, Man the Guns completely revamping the naval system, ignoring the what's the place I'm looking at? I'm not even talking about, say, the ship designer revamp, although that is pretty substantial. But just like all the patch changes for how you control your ships and your task forces and your fleets and things like that is just lovely. And anyway, the reason I started the Italy campaign is because they're a fairly major naval power, and it's fun to do more of the naval stuff in there. Although you don't really see any of that for the first few episodes because, you know, it's just Italy fighting Ethiopia, and doing some other things against some non-naval powers. I don't want to spoil exactly what we do in our Italy run, but we'll see. Anyway, maybe because I've been playing another Hoi game, I've completely lost track of what we were doing here in our Kaiserreich game as China, which is weird because I don't think the previous weeks I had that issue. But I think because so much has happened in this game and we're so separated from how we started, that I'm like, what was going on exactly? I don't know. All right, cool, man. Yeah, we are about to go to war with Russia. Well, are we though? Are we though? Because here's the thing. Currently, we have no CBs. We have no justified wars against anyone. We're not in a war. It's amazing that our diplomacy screen is totally blank. We have planned a Russian war fund. But I think right this second, we're not starting anything at this time. What we could do is we could go down to neutralize Russian imperialism, which will presumably lead to a decision to start war. And mostly we've been driven by the national focus tree, just because, you know, it's sort of nice to go through this story, right? We haven't been fabricating claims on anything arbitrary. We've just been going through the story of the national focus tree to see where it leads us because that's kind of fun. We have a lot of tech stuff we haven't done yet. And it may be worth taking a beat before we go and do any of the focuses to start more wars. So neutralize the Russian imperialism. I don't know what renounce the McMahon line. McMahon? McMahon? How do you pronounce his last name? Mahone, maybe. McMahon? I don't know. The product of British colonial administrator Henry McGuy, this line infringes on Chinese sovereignty and is yet another example of European colonizers trying to dictate their will to us. Renouncing this as an illegitimate relic of the past will send a clear signal to them. I guess it gives us a claim on Tawang and unlocks a decision. Where's Tawang? Ah, okay, so this will put us into a war against the Bharatiya commune, which might not be too bad. We will see. I don't pronounce his last name. Just use McMahon. We'll just call him McMahon. One other thing. Okay, so, I mean, Russia's big, and it would be fun to stomp them. That's one thing. And we do have, presumably, it's not explicit that this will give us some sort of war justification, but presumably, following the decision of remove the Russian threat, will probably give us some sort of war justification against Russia. So that's one thing. But I will say this. I was kind of surprised when I loaded this up and I took a look at the trade screen. Despite how much land we've taken, we actually don't have that many resources. We do have a good amount of steel. I won't deny that. I mean, a decent amount of tungsten, but given the amount of space we've got, I'm a little surprised. Ooh, there's a bunch more gift subs coming in. Is that Zero Matter? Wait, how far back do I have to scroll? 20 gift subs from Zero Matter. Holy cow, thank you very much. That's amazing. Thank you. Yeah, we probably have to stop, okay. My chat just broke. Nope. Come on, come back. Thank you. We probably have to go after these guys soon enough before this Gandhi dude discovers nukes, because that would be pretty terrifying. Help the Indians win their civil war. Well, I don't know. We'll see. So yeah, we've got, there's a few different places we can start some wars. Oh, right, I was talking about resources here. One of the things I want to point out is that German East Asia here, that's the wrong button, that's the button I want, has a lot of resources, including rubber, which we don't have, and we may want to gain access to a little bit more rubber. Plus, wouldn't it be nice to kick the Germans out of all these little ports over here? Plus, we kind of still have to pay them back for ruining the first Northern Expedition in this alt history version of things, right? So that could be a thing. It would also be nice to take Japan proper at some point. So I don't know. So there's a lot of stuff that's out there. We have a lot of armies. We're mostly infantry. We have a lot of army experience. What I was thinking, since we're not currently fighting, maybe we should do a little tweak to our various divisions and things like that. Make sure we're in good shape, because I have no idea what our situation is in terms of that. I did go and I think I did a couple of little renames and icon changes to try to figure things out. We're producing a ton of divisions. We have unlimited manpower. Well, no, we have unlimited manpower. We're still on volunteer only. So we have lots of manpower. And currently, I was shocked to see this, we have 500,000 infantry equipment in the bank. 500,000. Now, most of it's out of date, but we could still give these old guns to some young fellas and tell them to go and die for their country, right? If there's anything China needs is more rubbers. Oh! Quill should play GTFO sometimes. That'd be cool. What the heck's GTFO? I don't know. So anyway, we can train up some more troops. So here's what I'm going to suggest. I'm going to suggest we go and make sure that our divisions are set up the way we want. Because here's the thing. One of our land doctrines that we did changed the combat width of a bunch of our units. So right now, this infantry division actually has a combat width of 17.2. Sweet spots tend to be multiples of 20. Or at very least multiples of 10. So the multiples of 20 or multiples of 30 work for lots of things. It's not as much of a concern as people make it out to be, because it's very uncommon that you end up in a situation where you can use exactly the combat width available to you, because it mostly only comes up if you're attacking with the right exact number of divisions for the amount of provinces you're attacking from. But it's still a good idea, especially with us, actually, because I think we're going to end up with lots of divisions. So there's a lot of situations where we might overlap. So I think we want to bring this up just a scooch. We've got room for another support company over here, but I guess we haven't really unlocked anything. We need probably... Oh, I was going to say to unlock anti-tank. What are we missing? Field hospitals? We don't really need field hospitals, although maybe it would be okay. The minus 0.4 width for mass assault doctrine is kind of a pain to get exactly to 24. Yeah, but we can bring it closer. Like if we end up with a 19.8 or something like that, that would be better. Logistics company for Siberia. That is an excellent point. When is our next research unlock? We only have 4 research modules. Although, let me tell you, my Italy campaign's on elite difficulty, so you start off with a minus 30 penalty to research. Ha! It's nice not to have that right now. And in fact, we have a lot of pluses, although most people in the game will have lots of pluses at this point because of all the computing tech. They should be more or less in line. We're going with heavy fighters in this run. I actually have a big discussion in our Italy campaign about the pros and cons of heavy fighters versus light fighters. The metaphor, it keeps changing. What's considered better, and it really depends. Heavy fighters are much, much easier to get, like, air superiority over an area, because they give you more air superiority per fighter, and because they have a longer range, they have more mission efficiency, so you tend to get more air superiority better as heavy fighters. But if your heavy fighters are actually having to fight light fighters, the light fighters have a huge advantage, because they have 2 to nearly 3 times as much agility, depending on what levels you all are, not to mention more speed. And agility and speed are by far the most important stat for air-to-air combat. So our heavy fighters won't fare as well against light fighters if they have to do it, but otherwise they will provide benefits to your ground troops and stuff in a much more superior area. How often will you upload the Italy campaign? It is currently scheduled for 9 a.m. Eastern Time daily. I got 5 episodes recorded, so we'll see if we can keep up with that. There are some generals with upgrades, I believe, which is good because we're full on command power, so we'll be taking a look at that. But before we do that, let's tweak this. So we can't necessarily add more line infantry, but I think we will, since we have lots of infantry equipment and lots of manpower. We will go and add more just infantry divisions to this, I would say. So that brings us to 18.8. Can we fit another one in? 20.4. See, that's a little awkward. It's a little awkward. I mean, certainly going up a little closer to 20 is good. Going over is a little annoying, because then you can end up in a situation where you're really not using your combat width very well. I think adding this is a no-brainer. So we'll save this. It's going to use a bunch more equipment. Another 22,000 equipment, but that's going to be fine. Line anti-tank is an interesting idea. I don't usually add that in. If I need a line anti-tank, I prefer to use like a heavy tank anti-tank, like heavy tank destroyer. Heavy tank destroyer? I don't know how you'd say that. Because it's quite a nice addition. Could go down to 20. I mean, that's true. I don't have. I need to unlock the signal clump days and stuff, but it might be useful. We could go down to another multiple. Like, is it possible that we can go down? Yeah. See, we'd end up with just over 15 as well. So there's no good rounding. I think the thing to do is to add one extra brigade of infantry, and for now call that good enough. We'll see. We'll do this for now. That's going to be okay. So that's going to affect our divisions and training. Now, the other thing I noticed, even though, as far as I know, these are all my proper infantry over here, right? If you look at all this, if I click on change infantry template and I choose my infantry template, it'll change. Although, is this actually the change, or is this the final tally which we've got? Anyway, I'm going to make sure that we've standardized on the correct template here. And then here as well, it's all infantry. And again, we'll make sure we're using the right... It should be because it's got the right symbol. Yeah, I think it's just telling me the total amount of equipment. Like, presumably, I could tell them the same thing again. Yeah, okay, so it's not making a change. And then we have 4 divisions of our motorized over here. And we do have some promotions. We'll be looking at those soon. So we have 2 things called motorized. But really, the second one is really a mechanized division. Like that. So we have our motorized division over here, which is exactly 20. It's just trucks. They move fast. They have no... Well, they actually do have some breakthrough, which is kind of nice. They have no tanks, which is normally maybe what we would use here, but they do move hella fast. They're not super great at fighting, although combat width of 20 of all motorized isn't bad. But the main point of these guys isn't necessarily to fight. It's mostly just to move fast and try to do some encirclement, so we see. No, yeah, 12 kilometers an hour. It is fast. I mean, because this is the movement of, like, this isn't like highway driving, right? This is driving cross-country over the average of a day through muddy terrain and all kinds of stuff. That's actually really remarkably quick. Really remarkably quick. Should add motorized artillery to those motorized units. Yeah, so we're going to be doing a switchover. We've been going fairly low-tech most of this because... A, we didn't have the science. We started with only 2 research plots, so we started quite far behind. And then we also didn't have the industrial base to necessarily do that. But we do have to switch over. The part of the problem, though, is we still don't have anything really in the way of oil or fuel production. So if we're going to switch to more and more motorized and mechanized and self-propelled artillery and all these things, we're really going to have to up that. Unfortunately, the only practical way for us to get oil directly... Oh, there you go. Okay, I was just too far zoomed out. Would be maybe the Dutch East Indies. Lots of oil over here. Or the German holdings over here, actually, would give us a little bit, which would be a start. Really, the Dutch East Indies in general would be nice. The problem is we still don't have a navy. Although I don't know how we're going to power a navy without oil. I guess we're going to have to import oil. The other thing is, if we were to go... I mean, there's a little bit over here. I guess that's something. Yeah, actually, that would be a fairly substantial start. Of course, we can build synthetic refineries as well. There's the other thing. If we're going to fight Russia, maybe we could push all the way over here and take this oil. And that's a little far. Malaysia has resources for days. That's over here, right? Yeah, I mean, lots of rubber. I mean, tons of resources in general, and a little bit of oil. And you don't necessarily need a ton, especially if we're not worried about having to fight other mega navies. And right now, light cruisers are actually pretty good in Hoi 4, so we might just be able to make do with a lot of that. Can you build those? Yeah, we probably can. How is our infrastructure? We actually do have a lot of this, which is good. We've got infrastructure going, and we do have synthetics queued up. So yeah, we're finishing some key infrastructure, I think, because right now, I'm going to unpause. Right now, if we were to declare war on Russia, I think there were going to be a bunch of supply shortages. So air experience in this. I think we're not going to start a battle immediately. I mean, I could fabricate claims or justify claims, but we're mostly trying, again, to do everything over here. We're going to... medium heavy fighters... light aircrafts. I mean, we're going to do this. Light ship focus. Some more tech unlocks. I mean, these are just tech boosts. Although if we do this, we can take Taiwan. We need to build a navy, though. Let's get a few more of these tech discounts. I don't know. Are the cavalry needed for rebel suppression? I mean, we don't have any cavalry right now, right? We've got our militia garrisons over here, which is fine. They're not actually MPs. We have the cavalry template over here, which potentially may be used as a military police template. I mean, we could even plan ahead for that and do this, but we don't actually have any of these divisions yet, so we can probably wait. Oh yeah, I got Taiwan over here, so never mind. Right, this is Taiwan. Yeah. So if I got Fate of Beijing Naval Staff, would it just like then bypass the Taiwan one anyway? Because it doesn't matter too much. Steadiness, yeah. I think going for the Russian oil is a bad idea because Stalingrad is basically off in the lands of Narnia. Man, we have a lot of movement across the map. I'm assuming these guys are moving too. Yeah, alright. So everything's reorganizing itself, which is fine. They have political tutelage, power gain, high popular support, modern art of war for faster land doctrines. That's nice. Auto-saving. It's a slow auto-save. Opium trade taxes. Right. So we lose power, but we need fewer consumer goods factories. We actually need very few. Land use tax. And another -5%. Are we at like, I think we only need 5% consumer goods factories entirely, which is nuts! Which is absolutely nuts and kind of amazing. Military factories. I mean, maybe I could bring these up. I don't know. No, get the infrastructure done first. Because if something breaks out, we're going to need it. Germany has Chinese ports that can't stand surely. I mean, I kind of agree. Prepare the nuclear tanks. Now, I do like the sound of that. A bit more of old world blues kind of thing. Yeah, I'm actually really tempted. Now, of course, if we declare war on Germany, we're fighting the entire Reichspakt. But I'm not sure that they have a significant presence over here. And then that would also give an excuse to take these islands. Except, again, we don't have a navy. Okay, let's assume this. We're not going to go to war with Germany here. Or the Dutch East Indies until we have just at least some sort of navy so we can support a naval invasion at least. You know, we only need a token, but we need some. So really our targets are probably either going to be India or Russia early on. India would be, I mean, it's a lot smaller and therefore easier. On the other hand, like if we start fighting the Bharatiya commune, we don't have, do we have any front line with them? I mean, yes, we do some, but not much. That would be... I mean, we're fighting in low infrastructure. Oh, man, and this is all impassable terrain. So all we can do is squeeze through this one province into the mountains. That does not sound like a fun fight. I think Russia is going to be our next target. And we've already got a front line planned. What the hell? The thing about low infrastructure and, like, mountains and terrible terrain and stuff like that, they're not places you want to bring tanks anyway, because... they need a lot of fuel and just supplies in general, and can be quite hard. The advantage of an infantry army, a leg infantry army, is that they don't need as much stuff. So that could be handy. Let's go ahead and promote anyone who's got a promotion queued up. And guerrilla fighter. Yeah, I mean, why not, right? Let's just go through everyone. That's going to be okay. And you, there you go. Let's hit you. See, it's telling me you got a slot, or it did a second ago, but you don't actually have anything unlocked. Here we go. I guess we'll give you Guerrilla Fighter as well, just because we may as well spend it, I guess. We could have waited for this guy to maybe unlock a promotion for something else with the Motorized Corps, but I don't know. Who has more troops, Russia or China? That's an excellent question. So, Russia... Well, there's not even a range. I guess we have really good intel on them. We know they have 170 divisions. We have 198. In terms of they have 0 manpower. We have nearly 4 million in the bank, and remember, we're on volunteer-only policy. They are on service by requirement and have run out of manpower. Oh. How do we have a Russia that has no manpower? How did that happen? Kaiserreich Russia's manpower problems? I mean, it's not Soviet Russia. Maybe if they'd gone Soviet, there would have been something. They might have, like, weird ideas and things like that. That might be, you know, change in the mix or something. I don't know. All right, we've got more military factories. And we've got lots of everything. Can we start... Any line stuff we're not making? We can't do... Oh, I was going to say, we can do mechanized. We're going to start producing mechanized. Actually, I'll make it a fairly big queue, because I would like to eventually convert over, at least somewhat, to mechanized. We'll just get this ready. It's going to be okay. Kill each other in the Civil War. Yeah, the Civil War did take forever. It was shocking. Shocking how long Soviet Russia, the Soviet Union, survived. Was it called Soviet Union or Soviet Russia? I don't know. I think Soviet Union. Anyway, it's amazing how long that Civil War took. So, yeah, maybe that was it. What is this one here? Okay, yeah, you got dudes. So, you can go in there. We're gonna, like, more infantry than we know what to do with. Like, this is just nuts. But we can. We can train up this much infantry this fast. Think Russia will be converted to Chinese Soviet Russia? Maybe. I mean, we're not Soviet. We're not communists. We are radical socialists. Start researching Navy. Well, we got a few things that we do have to research next. What's decision? Oh, right. All these industrialization decisions. And yeah. We may as well keep hitting those. Never start a land war in Asia, some guy. Yeah. Well, we're not going to listen to that. So, when we finish heavy airframes focus, we will go and take the neutralized Russian Republic. Sounds like a lot of words to say communist. Yeah, radical socialism. Just communism with extra steps. Oh, yeah, and their name is bigger than ours. That's the other reason we have to start a war. You're absolutely right. Font warfare. Doesn't help that our country name is rather long. That means our font's going to stay kind of small. But, I mean, the Russian Republic kind of has the same problem. Actually, it has literally the same amount of letters. But we have one extra space. The real battle is the font size battle. Yeah, font size, border gore, and you have the same color as me. These are all very valid reasons to go and fight someone. I thought it was the Russians who had extra steps. I should... It still feels like it's too early for puns there, Gaba, but that was pretty good. Russia versus China sounds like the bloodiest 1v1 possible. Should be fun, though. All right, heavy airframe. And yeah, let's pop back down here. Let's go neutralize Russian imperialism. There could only be one empire. Ours. Bunch more troops. Let's go and throw them in. I'm gonna exercise you a little. Try to get rid of that green debuff. Actually, I'm gonna maybe just take a second. I'm gonna exercise all these guys. Just have to make sure to stop it with enough time. Well, there's a decision we're gonna have to hit, so I actually don't know what our timing is. Okay, tech. So we still have some tough decisions to make tech-wise. Yeah, I want more ships. Now, the ships are the ship page is laid out very differently in Kaiserreich than vanilla. I mean, just spamming cruisers, again, he's pretty strong these days, so it might be that. This is on normal difficulty. There's the next tier of mechanized. There's our Marines, which we're going to need. We never did get mountain infantry, and that could have been handy for some stuff. I'm thinking, though, what we may do is just pop some new support companies so we can add them in. Logistics company could make a big difference. Reducing supply usage and fuel usage. So, I mean, this can really go on any division. Just for the reduced supply is going